New York City, 8:03 a.m. The towering steel and glass building of Hamilton Enterprises shimmered under the morning sun. The logo, bold and golden, gleamed high above the entrance like a symbol of unreachable power. On the sidewalk below, a young woman stood frozen. Her name was Emily Carter. A small-town girl from rural Ohio, Emily had only arrived in the city 2 days ago. She wore a plain cream blouse and a second-hand pencil skirt, paired with scuffed flats that had seen better days. Her hair was pulled into a neat ponytail, no makeup, no jewelry, just quiet determination in her eyes. Clutching her canvas tote bag, she took a deep breath and stepped into the building. Today was her first day as a design intern at one of the most prestigious corporations in Manhattan. She had no idea her first step inside would be the beginning of a nightmare. 8:27 a.m. Creative Design Department, 22nd floor. The office space was modern, pristine, filled with crisp white desks and the faint scent of expensive coffee. Conversations paused as Emily walked in, her heels clicking softly against the marble. Heads turned. Stares burned through her like acid. Alicia Monroe, the lead assistant in the department, turned from her screen, gave Emily a full once-over, then let out a sharp, mocking laugh. "You lost, sweetheart. HR is on the 5th floor." Emily smiled politely. "I'm Emily Carter. I'm the new intern, starting today." Alicia raised an eyebrow. "You're the intern? Jesus. They said we were getting help, not bringing in a charity case." Behind Alicia, Tiffany, a junior designer with icy blonde curls and a permanent smirk, chimed in. "Are those thrift store shoes? You know there's a dress code, right? This isn't a soup kitchen." "I think she's actually serious," another voice muttered. "God, the Midwest really sends their best." Laughter. Emily clenched her tote tighter, cheeks burning, but her voice stayed calm. "I was told to report to Ms. Monroe. May I know where my desk is?" Alicia flicked a hand toward the corner near the printer. "That one. But stay away from the main server or we'll all end up with dial-up." More chuckles. Emily nodded quietly and walked to her desk, pretending not to hear the whispers behind her back. 10 a.m. Weekly department meeting. The entire creative team gathered in the main conference room. Glass walls, sleek leather chairs, chrome finishes, it was designed to intimidate. And it worked. Everyone sat straighter when he walked in. Nathaniel Hamilton, the CEO. Young, brilliant, ruthless, and one of the most powerful men in New York. He entered in a tailored black suit, the room falling silent as he approached the head of the table. His presence was cold, composed, magnetic. And for 3 long seconds, his gaze landed directly on Emily. She didn't breathe. But Nathaniel's face remained unreadable. Not a twitch. Not a smile. Not a flicker of recognition. He simply looked away and began the meeting. Emily stared down at the conference table, her fingers trembling slightly on her notepad. She couldn't hear the words being said. Only her heartbeat. Because the man standing across the room was her husband. The meeting dragged on. Emily kept her head low, her pen poised over the notebook, though she didn't write a single word. Every second she spent in that room was a battle, against the stares, against the growing weight in her chest, and above all, against the man who sat barely 10 feet away but acted like she didn't exist. Nathaniel Hamilton. Her husband for precisely 146 days. And today, she wasn't his wife. She was just a stranger in his company. "You said no one would know," she told him the night she signed the marriage license. "Because you'll never work here," he had replied with that same, calm, closed-off tone. "And if you ever do, I'll protect you, but no one can know." 11:12 a.m. Emily's desk. She had barely returned from the conference room when Tiffany tossed a file onto her desk, pages scattering. "Print those. Double-sided. Don't screw it up." Emily leaned down, quietly collecting the sheets. Tiffany hovered, a fake sweet smile on her face. By the way, new girl, what did you think of the big boss? Pretty intimidating, huh? Tall, dark, and emotionally unavailable. Just my type. Alicia chimed in from across the room. Rumor has it, he's engaged to some heiress from LA. Apparently, it's an arranged thing. Hamiltons like to marry status, not feelings. Of course, Tiffany said with a smirk. A man like that doesn't marry a nobody from the middle of nowhere. Emily's hand paused on the last page. She could feel her heart hammering in her ribs. Still, she smiled softly. Maybe love doesn't care where someone comes from. Tiffany blinked, then burst into laughter. God, you are precious. You think billionaires fall in love with interns? Emily didn't answer. She rose, file in hand, and walked off to the copy room. 11:47 a.m. Copy room. The copy machine beeped. Paper fed through slowly. Emily leaned on the edge of the counter, biting her lip to keep her tears back. The walls felt like they were closing in. How had it come to this? She had agreed to keep their marriage secret to protect Nathaniel's image, to avoid scandal. His family had already disapproved of her, calling her a nobody, a liability, a temporary distraction. But now she was being treated like garbage by his employees. And he had said nothing. The door opened behind her. She didn't turn. Don't cry here. The walls have eyes. She froze. That voice. Calm, low, familiar. Nathaniel. Emily slowly turned to find him standing in the doorway. The hall outside was empty. What are you doing here? She whispered. He stepped inside, closing the door behind him. I came to check on you. You were shaking in the meeting. You ignored me in the meeting. I had to. You didn't have to watch while they humiliated me. Nathaniel's jaw clenched. His voice stayed quiet. Emily, this is temporary. The internship is 3 months. Once it's over. Don't, she snapped. Don't make it sound like this is just a phase. Like I'm just a phase. Silence. For the first time in months, something cracked in his eyes. You think this is easy for me, he said. To watch them treat you like this and not do a damn thing about it. Then do something, she shouted, then lowered her voice quickly. I'm not asking for a red carpet. But defend me. Acknowledge me. Something. He stepped closer. If I do, this marriage becomes public. The media will dig into your past. Your family. Your life. They'll eat you alive. Maybe I'd rather be eaten alive, Emily said bitterly, than erased. Nathaniel reached out as if to touch her, then stopped himself. I'm protecting you, Em. Whether you like it or not. And with that, he turned and left. 2 p.m. Cafeteria. Emily sat alone, stirring a cup of coffee that had gone cold. Across the room, Tiffany and Alicia laughed loudly, tossing their hair and casting glances toward the table where the junior executives sat. Emily. She looked up. A tall guy with chestnut hair and a warm smile waved as he approached. Liam Bennett, from IT. He had met her during onboarding and was one of the few who didn't treat her like trash. You okay? He asked, setting down his tray. Emily smiled, grateful. Yeah. Just tired. That's corporate life, he chuckled. You'll get used to it. Besides, I'm betting you'll outshine them all in a month. She gave a small laugh. Across the room, Nathaniel stood by the window. He was alone, arms crossed, watching them. Watching her. His face was blank. But his grip on the glass in his hand, tight, knuckles white, told another story. Wednesday, 7:12 a.m. Emily woke up in a studio apartment barely big enough to stretch in. The walls were bare, save for a small wedding photo taped behind a closet door, hidden like everything else in her life. Nathaniel hadn't stayed the night. He rarely did. The moment they moved to New York, he insisted they live separately. To protect you, he'd said. If they know we're together, they'll come after you. My enemies don't play fair. But what he never realized was silence could hurt more than enemies. 9:20 a.m. office lobby. The elevator chimed. Emily stepped in just as the doors began to close. Hold up. A hand jammed between the doors. They slid open again. A man in a dark blue coat stepped inside. Tall. Sandy brown hair. Smirking. Emily turned pale. Hi, Em, the man said, eyes twinkling. Miss me? Ethan Miller. Her ex-boyfriend. The boy she left behind in Ohio. The same one who said she wasn't cut out for anything more than waitress work. What are you doing here? She whispered. Surprised. I'm the new PR consultant for Hamilton Enterprises. Funny, huh? I applied for the job months ago. Didn't even know you'd be here. But maybe fate's giving us a second shot. There's no second shot, Ethan. Come on. You look great. And this company could use someone who actually smiles around here. The door slid open. Emily darted out without another word. 11:40 a.m. in Nathaniel's office. He stared at the resume on his desk, brow furrowed. Ethan Miller. Solid background. Well connected. But something about him felt off. His assistant, George, knocked lightly. The PR guy's already making himself at home. Charming the design team, especially that blonde one, Tiffany. Nathaniel nodded slowly. Keep an eye on him. Sure. Anything else? Nathaniel hesitated. Then. If he ever speaks to Emily Carter, tell me immediately. George raised an eyebrow but didn't question it. 2:07 p.m. cafeteria. Emily was refilling her tea when she heard Tiffany giggling from the next table. He's cute. And tall. Way better than Nate. Less a robot CEO. Totally. And rumor has it, he knows Emily. Small town drama alert. Emily froze. Tiffany's voice turned louder. I bet she dated him. Probably dumped her for someone hotter, now she's here trying to glow up. Or maybe, Ethan's voice cut in, slick and sudden, she dumped me. He slid into a chair beside them. But I've always liked a girl who can keep secrets. Emily dropped her cup. It shattered on the floor. Silence. Everyone turned. Ethan rose with a casual grin, eyes never leaving hers. Oops. Didn't mean to cause a scene. 5:30 p.m. outside the office. The rain poured in sheets. Emily stood under the building's awning, waiting for the storm to pass. Then she felt it. That quiet presence behind her. Always calm. Always storm. Get in the car, Nathaniel said quietly. I'll take the subway. It's pouring. I said I'll take the subway. He stepped closer. We need to talk. No, she said. You need to talk. Because there's a man in your building who knows I'm not just some intern. And is not going to keep his mouth shut. Nathaniel's jaw tensed. He looked down at her, rain dripping from his hair, soaking into his tailored coat. Who is he to you? He used to be everything. Now he's just a reminder of how far I've come. Did you love him? Emily looked him dead in the eye. Not like I love you. But at least he never pretended I didn't exist. Silence. Then Nathaniel opened the car door without a word. She hesitated. Then got in. 7:02 p.m. his penthouse. The city glittered below the floor-to-ceiling windows. Nathaniel stood by the glass, hands in his pockets. Emily sat on the edge of the sofa, still damp, arms folded. "You knew this day would come," she said. "That someone from my past would show up. That this lie would fall apart. It hasn't. It's starting to." He turned, eyes dark. "Do you want me to fire him?" "No," she said. "I want you to stop hiding me. Hiding us." Nathaniel crossed the room in 3 strides and dropped to one knee in front of her. For the first time since they married, he looked like a man stripped of armor. "If I tell the world you're my wife, they'll go after you. Your life will change overnight." "Then let it," she whispered. "Because this pretending, I can't keep doing it." Nathaniel exhaled. "Then we do it your way. Tomorrow morning. I'll tell the board." Emily's breath caught. "You serious?" "I've always been serious. About you. And for the first time in weeks." He kissed her. But outside, beyond the glass, in the shadows of another tower, a camera lens clicked. Thursday, 6:03 a.m. The headlines hit before sunrise. Shocking secret wife. Billionaire CEO Nathaniel Hamilton married to unknown intern. Underneath the bold letters was a grainy photo, Emily and Nathaniel on the penthouse balcony, the moment they kissed the night before. Emily stared at the image on her phone, heart sinking like stone. She hadn't expected it this fast. She hadn't expected this kind of fury. 7:45 a.m. Hamilton Enterprises lobby. The usual calm professionalism was gone. Reporters crowded the entrance, cameras flashing. Security guards shouted as microphones were shoved into faces. "Is it true, Mr. Hamilton? Did you marry a small-town girl in secret? What does the board say about this betrayal of trust?" In the middle of it all, Nathaniel stepped out of his car in silence. Black suit. Imposing presence. But today, his calm was an act. Underneath the mask, rage simmered. Someone had leaked the photo. And that meant someone close. 8:10 a.m. Executive conference room. Board members shouted over each other, papers flying across the table. "You married an intern without disclosing it. Do you understand the legal implications if she accessed proprietary information? The company's image is on fire, Nathaniel." He stood at the head of the table, motionless. Then calmly said, "Emily Carter has never touched sensitive material. She has no access to internal systems and no part in decision-making. She was hired before our marriage became legal." "Then why hide it?" one woman barked. "Because she didn't ask for this circus," Nathaniel said, voice low. "And because it was my mistake. Not hers." The room fell into a stunned hush. Downstairs design floor. Emily stepped out of the elevator and into a room of silence. Every eye turned to her. Some stared in disbelief. Others with open hate. "She's Mrs. Hamilton," Tiffany said, laughing coldly. "You've got to be kidding. How the hell did she land the CEO?" Alicia hissed. "Was this whole poor girl act fake?" "So much for fair hiring," someone muttered. Emily didn't speak. She walked straight to her desk, spine straight, hand steady. But inside, her stomach churned. Across the floor, Ethan leaned against a wall, sipping coffee, eyes locked on her. He smiled slowly. Like a hunter waiting for the trap to spring. 12:30 p.m. PR office. Nathaniel slammed the door behind him. Ethan barely flinched. "Something I can help you with, boss." Nathaniel walked right up to him. "You leaked the photo. That's a bold accusation. Got proof?" "No. But I know your kind." Ethan's smile twisted. "You mean guys who actually like your wife? Or guys who think she deserves better than a cold-blooded CEO who keeps her locked in the shadows?" Nathaniel's eyes narrowed. If you touch her. Touch her. Ethan laughed. I don't have to. You're the one breaking her heart piece by piece. I'm just here to pick up the pieces. 1:02 p.m. Ladies' restroom. Emily stood before the mirror, trying not to cry. Her hands trembled under the faucet. The door creaked open. Tiffany. Just wanted to say congratulations, she said, her tone dripping with venom. You really played the long game, huh? Emily didn't respond. But let me make something clear, Tiffany leaned in. You're not one of us. You'll never be. You're just a country girl who got lucky. And luck runs out. She walked out. Emily exhaled slowly. Then turned to face herself in the mirror. No more hiding, she whispered. 4:15 p.m. Emergency company meeting. To the shock of the entire building, Emily Carter stood beside Nathaniel at the front of the auditorium. Hundreds of staff stared. Nathaniel took the mic. Yes. Emily is my wife. And yes, I kept it private because I feared what we are seeing now. Gossip. Invasion. Cruelty. His voice sharpened. But she has earned her position here. And from this moment forward, anyone who treats her with anything less than professional respect will answer to me. Gasps rippled through the crowd. Emily stepped forward. I'm not asking for your approval, she said clearly. I'm not ashamed of where I come from. Or who I love. She met the sea of eyes head on. But I will not be bullied anymore. Later that night, penthouse. Emily stood on the balcony again, looking out at the city. The storm had passed, but the air still crackled with aftermath. Nathaniel joined her. I meant every word. I know. I don't care what they think. I just want you safe. Emily looked at him, tired but steady. Then don't protect me by pushing me away. Walk beside me. Nathaniel reached for her hand. Grasped it. Held on. Beside you. Always. But deep in the shadows of a parking garage across town, Ethan made a call. It's done. The photo worked. She's vulnerable now. And Hamilton's got no idea what's coming next. Friday, 6:42 a.m. Emily woke to the sound of her phone buzzing on the nightstand. Her heart jumped. She had stopped expecting normal mornings. Every day brought new fire. She reached for the screen, only to freeze. A text from an unknown number. You don't know who you married, do you? Ask Nathaniel about Project Eclipse. Before it's too late. Her fingers shook. 8:10 a.m. Hamilton Enterprises. The elevator opened with its usual soft chime. But the mood in the office was different. Everyone looked at her. Not with mockery this time. Not even surprise. But something colder. Suspicion. She passed by Alicia and Tiffany. Not a word. Only whispers trailing behind her like shadows. I heard she's the reason the stock dropped. Some investor pulled out after the scandal. There's talk of a full-blown inquiry. Emily tried to ignore it. But it was like trying to ignore a noose tightening. 10 a.m. in Nathaniel's office. She stormed in without knocking. Nathaniel looked up from his laptop, startled. Emily. What is Project Eclipse? The air in the room froze. Nathaniel slowly stood. Where did you hear that? You didn't answer the question. He closed the laptop with a quiet snap. It was a failed AI surveillance program. Cancelled 2 years ago after a whistleblower flagged ethical concerns. It has nothing to do with us anymore. Then why did someone text me about it at 6 in the morning? Nathaniel moved toward her. You were targeted. Someone wants to rattle you. Don't let them. But who? Emily asked. Who would know enough about your past and hate you this much? Nathaniel's face hardened. Ethan. Meanwhile, Ethan's apartment. Ethan lit a cigarette by the window, watching the news play out on his TV screen. Hamilton Enterprises under internal audit following marriage scandal. Anonymous sources report unethical tech projects may be involved. He smiled. And that's just the beginning. His phone buzzed. He answered. Phase 2 starts now. Send the documents. 1:20 p.m. Cafeteria. Emily sat alone again, but this time no one mocked her. Instead, they stared like she was a ticking bomb. Liam appeared beside her. Hey. Hi. He hesitated, then leaned closer. I overheard something. Ethan's been poking around the IT servers, trying to access restricted archives. Old files. Weird stuff. Emily blinked. Why would he? He's looking for blackmail material. Something against the company. Or maybe against Nathaniel. Emily's stomach twisted. 3:35 p.m. Parking garage. Nathaniel pressed Emily against the side of his car, shielding her with his body. The glass above them had shattered, a piece landing inches from her head. Someone threw that from the top floor, the security chief said. We are checking cameras now. Emily's hands trembled against Nathaniel's chest. That wasn't random. No, Nathaniel said, his jaw tight. That was a warning. They want me out of the picture. They want us both gone. 6 p.m. boardroom. The emergency meeting was brutal. Executives grilled Nathaniel for 30 minutes straight. Your personal life has endangered the company. There's evidence of surveillance violations under your leadership. You either resign or face a shareholder revolt. Nathaniel stood slowly. You want my seat? He looked each of them in the eye. Then come take it. He walked out without another word. Emily waited for him in the hall. What now? She asked. Now, he said, breathless. Now I burn the whole game board. 10:48 p.m. Penthouse. Emily couldn't sleep. She sat in the dark living room, laptop open, searching keywords over and over. Project Eclipse. Hamilton Enterprises AI program. Whistleblower 2021. Her heart stopped. A name appeared in an old article. Claire Rowan. Former tech engineer. Fired after accusing the company of unethical data harvesting. A photo. Nathaniel. And a young woman beside him. Claire. Her arms around his neck. His ex-fiancée. Back in the shadows, Ethan clicked through security footage on a flash drive. Let's see how she handles this skeleton. He smiled. Because he hadn't just found a crack in Nathaniel's armor. He'd found the one woman who could shatter him. Saturday, 8:12 a.m. Emily sat alone in the penthouse kitchen, coffee untouched. Her eyes burned from reading through every article, blog post, and Reddit thread she could find. Claire Rowan wasn't just a name from Nathaniel's past. She was once his future. They were engaged. She worked in his company. And she disappeared 2 years ago, after accusing Hamilton Enterprises of illegally surveilling employees through Project Eclipse. Nathaniel had never mentioned her. And now she was back in New York. 10:34 a.m. Downtown Cafe. Emily walked in with her hood up, sunglasses on. Across the room, a woman stood when she saw her. Sharp cheekbones. Cold smile. Flame-red lipstick. The kind of beauty that didn't beg for attention, it commanded it. Claire Rowan. Well, Claire said smoothly, I was wondering when the secret wife would come looking. Emily sat slowly. I read what you said. About the program. Claire laughed. That? Sweetheart, that was just the tip of the iceberg. Nathaniel shut it down publicly. But do you think his family was going to just let that power go? Emily stared. You think he's lying to me? Oh, no. Claire leaned in. I know he is. She slid a flash drive across the table. You want to know what kind of man you married? Watch what's on there. Then ask him if he'd ever choose you over his empire. Meanwhile, Hamilton Enterprises' top floor. Nathaniel stood in front of the massive boardroom windows, facing Liam, the only employee left he trusted. We're being set up. By who? Just Ethan. Nathaniel shook his head. Claire's in New York. Liam froze. That's not good. She wants to destroy me, Nathaniel said, his voice low. She always did. And now she's using Emily to do it. So what are you going to do? Nathaniel's eyes darkened. End it. Before Emily gets hurt. 2:45 p.m. Penthouse office. Emily plugged in the flash drive. She hesitated. Then clicked. A folder labeled Eclipse_beta footage. Hundreds of file names. Video snippets. She opened one. Security camera footage inside someone's private home. Another showed a dressing room. A woman crying in a corner, unaware of the blinking red light behind the mirror. Emily covered her mouth in horror. They'd been spying on people. Watching. Listening. Illegally. She clicked the next video. It opened to a conference room. Claire's voice echoed. We need to shut this down, Nathaniel. It's not just unethical, it's criminal. Nathaniel's voice was calm. Measured. The board isn't going to back out now. We've invested too much. Claire's voice rose. What happens when someone finds out? When one of those people gets hurt? Then we make sure no one does, he said. You're overreacting. The screen froze. Emily sat frozen. He lied to me. 4:07 p.m. back at Hamilton HQ. Emily barged into Nathaniel's office. He looked up, surprised. She was pale, shaking. Tell me it's not true. What? Project Eclipse. The videos. You said it was over. You said it was nothing. Nathaniel's face turned to stone. Where did you get that? Claire gave it to me. That name shifted something in his eyes. She's manipulating you. No, Emily said, voice breaking. You did that. You lied to me. You kept secrets. You let me walk into this company blind, into a storm you created. I was protecting you. Stop saying that, she shouted. You don't protect me, Nathaniel. You control me. Silence. Nathaniel's voice was barely audible. If I told you everything, you'd never have married me. Then maybe you shouldn't have asked. She turned and walked out. 8:01 p.m. Claire's apartment. Ethan stood by the window, sipping wine. Claire watched him with a calculating gaze. She took the flash drive. She did, Ethan said. And she believed it. Claire smiled. Good. Then it's time we bring the past to the surface. What do you want me to do? Claire turned to face him. Leak the full contents online. Make it go viral. Eclipse, the spying, the board's cover-up, everything. And Hamilton? Claire's smile vanished. He'll burn. Back at the penthouse, 2:12 a.m. Nathaniel stood alone on the balcony, rain misting over the city skyline. He held his phone in one hand. A wedding photo of Emily smiling in the summer sun glowed on the screen. She wasn't home. She hadn't answered a single call. He knew what he had to do. He dialed a number he never thought he'd use again. It's me. Activate protocol blackout. Sir, that means pulling every server. Oh no. Do it. Before the world sees what Claire's about to release. Sunday, 6:04 a.m. The internet didn't just break. It shattered. Across every major news outlet, the same headline flashed in red. Hamilton surveillance scandal explodes, whistleblower footage confirmed. Leaked videos. Internal documents. A corporate archive that should have been erased. And Nathaniel Hamilton's name was on everything. 6:22 a.m. Emily's phone. Her screen buzzed non-stop. Unknown numbers. Journalists. Hate messages. Support messages. Threats. All tangled in a vortex of digital fire. She scrolled down. And saw it. A photo of her. Walking beside Nathaniel. Labeled, wife of corrupt CEO, innocent or accomplice. Her breath caught. They were turning on her. 8:11 a.m. Safe house in Brooklyn. Nathaniel had her moved in the middle of the night. Not to his penthouse. Not to a hotel. To an old brownstone under an alias, guarded by private security. She hadn't spoken to him since. Now, she sat on the edge of a strange bed, still in yesterday's clothes, staring at the wall. The door opened. Nathaniel stepped in. Tired. Unshaven. Hollow eyes. Emily didn't rise. You're safe here, he said quietly. That's not what I asked for. The world's turned on us. No, Emily whispered. They turned on you. I'm just collateral damage. He didn't argue. Instead, he sat on the armrest of a nearby chair, rubbing his face. I shut down the servers. Froze the accounts. Legal is prepping for a federal hearing. Why didn't you tell me? Emily's voice cracked. You let me fall in love with a man who was watching people behind mirrors. Nathaniel looked at her, heartbroken. When I met you, I wasn't that man anymore. I swear it. But you never let me decide if I could love you knowing who you were. Silence stretched between them like a canyon. I need air, she whispered. 9:42 a.m. Newsroom at Channel 7. Claire sipped coffee as she watched her own pre-recorded interview loop on national TV. We were silenced. Fired. Blacklisted. All for trying to protect people's rights. And who knew about this inside the company, the anchor asked. Everyone. But the one who gave the green light. Nathaniel Hamilton. And maybe his wife, too. Claire gave the camera a chilling smile. She was working there. There's no way she didn't know. 11:15 a.m. Central Park. Emily walked under the grey sky, hood over her head. She tried to disappear into the crowd, but her face was everywhere. Phone screens. Tabloid covers. Whispers followed her like shadows. That's her. The wife. Wonder if she'll go to prison too. She sat on a bench. Hugged herself. A voice spoke behind her. Tough morning. She turned. Ethan. He held a coffee in one hand, smugness in the other. What do you want? Just checking in. You look like you could use a friend. You're not my friend, Emily snapped. You're the reason this all blew up. Ethan raised an eyebrow. Was I? Or was I just the match? Don't forget who poured the gasoline. Claire used me. And you helped her. I helped you, he said, stepping closer. Face the truth. You were never his equal. You were a pet. A shield. A pretty distraction. Shut up. You think he'll choose you over his empire? He already did, Emily said coldly. No, Ethan whispered. He hasn't yet. But he will. You'll see. 1 p.m. Hamilton Enterprises. The boardroom was in chaos. Half the directors had resigned. Stock value had plummeted overnight. Government investigators were en route. Nathaniel stood at the head of the table one last time. "This is on me," he said. "Not Emily. If you go after her, I'll burn every file you ever touched. No one in this room will walk away clean." They watched him in silence. He turned to George, his assistant. "Announce my resignation. Effective immediately." "And the company?" George asked. "Hand it over to legal. They'll cut it up, sell it off. It's done." 3:32 p.m. Safe house. Emily returned to find Nathaniel sitting in the dark. He didn't look up. "It's gone," he said. "The company?" "Everything." "Why?" "Because you were the only thing I ever built that was real." Tears welled in her eyes. "So what now?" He stood. Walked to her. "Now I don't have to lie anymore. Not even about Claire." He paused. "Claire and I were engaged. I loved her once. But she wasn't who I thought she was. She wanted power. Not people. And me." Nathaniel took her hand. "You didn't want my money. Or my name. You wanted me. Even when I was empty. And now?" "Now," he said softly, "I want to earn you. For real." Emily didn't respond right away. Then she nodded. Meanwhile, Ethan's apartment. He answered his phone without looking. Claire's voice came through. "It's done." "You sure?" He stepped down. "She's still with him. But trust me, she's fractured." "What about us?" Claire hung up. Ethan smiled. "One war down," he murmured. "One more to go." Monday, 7:18 a.m. The once mighty Hamilton Enterprises building now bore a giant "For Lease" sign. Nathaniel stood across the street in a plain black hoodie, hands in his pockets, watching the demolition crews tape off the entrance. A legacy destroyed. A name now whispered with scandal and shame. Behind him, Emily watched in silence. "How does it feel?" she asked. He didn't look away. "Like I finally stopped pretending I was invincible." She nodded. "Maybe now you can finally be real." 9:41 a.m. Brooklyn apartment. They didn't move back into the penthouse. Nathaniel sold it. They rented a small loft in Brooklyn. 2 rooms. Brick walls. A leaky faucet. But for the first time in months, it felt like theirs. Nathaniel cooked eggs. Burned them. Swore. Emily laughed. They shared a mattress on the floor. Took walks in the park. He read books without spreadsheets. She sketched again, for herself, not a client. It was a fragile kind of happiness. But it was real. Until the letter came. Wednesday, 3:13 p.m. Mailbox. Emily pulled out a thick black envelope. No return address. Inside, a single glossy photo. Claire. Sitting in a hotel lounge. With Emily's father. Smiling. The note read. "He told me everything. Small-town secrets don't stay buried forever." Emily's blood turned to ice. 4 p.m. Rooftop. Emily burst through the door, heart racing, letter in hand. "She found my dad." Nathaniel turned, stunned. "What?" "She knows. Where I'm from. Who I was. Everything I've tried to leave behind." He took the photo. Frowned. "She's not just after me anymore. She's after us," Emily said. She wants to tear us apart piece by piece. Nathaniel looked at her, then at the horizon. Then it's time we stop playing defense. Thursday, 10:30 a.m. Midtown Hotel. Claire ordered a second glass of wine, scrolling through her messages. An envelope landed in front of her. She looked up. Emily stood there. Calm. Composed. We need to talk. Claire's smile was venom. Didn't expect you to come alone. Didn't expect you to dig up my father either. Claire sipped her wine. I do my homework. Why? Emily asked. What is this really about? Nathaniel. Revenge. Claire laughed. He ruined my life. Then replaced me with you. I was building his future. You were just a cute accident. Emily leaned closer. You think I'm scared of you? Claire's eyes glittered. No. I think you're almost ready to break. And when you do, he'll fall with you. Emily slid a flash drive onto the table. This? Your entire history with Project Eclipse. Including the parts you left out. Claire's smile faltered. I don't know what you're talking about. Don't lie, Emily whispered. I did my homework too. You were the architect of the beta program. The real surveillance didn't start until you approved it. Claire's eyes narrowed. If you go public with that. I won't, Emily said. If you walk away. Right now. Silence. Claire reached for the wine again. You've learned to play dirty. Good for you. Emily turned and walked out without looking back. But Claire wasn't done. Later that night, rooftop balcony. Nathaniel stood looking over the city. Emily joined him, wrapping a coat around her shoulders. She's going to come back harder, he said. She doesn't let go. Then we'll face her together. You sure? I'm still here, aren't I? He turned to her. Quiet. Awed. You were supposed to be the girl I kept safe. The one I sheltered from all of this. I don't need safety, Emily said. I need truth. I need us. They kissed beneath the stars. No secrets. No power games. Just two people, scarred, but surviving. Meanwhile, anonymous forum thread. A new user posted a single message. What if I told you the whistleblower was lying too? Attached, a video. Claire Rowan. Speaking to investors. Bragging about the potential for private access to user data. The internet erupted again. Only this time it wasn't Nathaniel in the crosshairs. It was her. Friday 7:01 a.m. Online news blast. Whistleblower or puppet master? Claire Rowan under fire after leaked video goes viral. The footage spread like wildfire. Claire bragging to investors. Claiming she could listen to anyone, anywhere. Proof that she not only knew about Project Eclipse, but may have been its chief designer and manipulator. For months, she had painted herself as the victim. Now? The internet had turned. 9:17 a.m. Brooklyn loft. Emily read the headlines with shaking fingers. Nathaniel stood at the kitchen counter, silent, staring at his phone. It's out, she said quietly. He nodded. The public's eating her alive. Does it make you feel better, she asked. Seeing her fall. He turned, met her eyes. No. I don't want revenge. I want peace. Then maybe we're close. But peace wouldn't come that easy. The knock on their door was cold and heavy. Nathaniel opened it to find a man in a grey suit, federal badge in hand. Mr. Hamilton. Ms. Carter. You've both been summoned to appear in federal court. You're part of the ongoing surveillance investigation. Saturday 1 p.m. Federal Courthouse. The courtroom was packed. Cameras swarmed outside. Protesters and supporters clashed on the steps. Inside, Emily sat stiffly beside Nathaniel. Claire sat across the aisle, flanked by attorneys, still smug despite everything. The prosecutor's voice echoed across the chamber. This case is not just about technology. It's about trust. About power abused, truth buried, and lives monitored without consent. Claire's lawyer stood. My client exposed corruption. She was silenced by a machine she helped build. The judge looked unimpressed. And yet we now have evidence she also profited from that machine. That she was the machine. Murmurs. Then, her eyes locked on Emily. Your Honor, Claire interrupted, I request to question Ms. Carter directly. Gasps. Emily's hand clenched in her lap. The judge hesitated. Proceed. Claire stood in the middle of the room, all charm and ice. Tell me, Emily. When you married Nathaniel Hamilton, were you aware of Project Eclipse? No. Are you sure? You worked inside the company. As an intern. But you were his wife. Not his spy. Claire's eyes glinted. Do you love him? The courtroom held its breath. Emily stood slowly. Calm. Unshaken. Yes. I love the man he is. Not the name. Not the money. And especially not the past. Even after everything. Claire asked. Especially after everything, Emily said, voice firm. Claire opened her mouth, but the judge cut in. Ms. Rowan, this is a court of law, not a talk show. Claire sat down, fury flickering beneath her skin. Monday verdict announcement. The judge read from the bench. Claire Rowan, this court finds you guilty of obstruction, corporate fraud, and misuse of private data. Claire didn't blink. She smiled. Emily stared in disbelief. She's not scared. Nathaniel murmured, she's planning her next move. From prison. Claire always plays the long game. Later that evening's rooftop. The skyline glittered. Wind tugged at Emily's coat as she leaned into Nathaniel. It's over, he said. No, Emily replied. It's just beginning. He turned. What do you mean? This isn't about surviving anymore. It's about building something new. Something honest. Something ours. You still want that? She looked up. Only if it comes with you. Nathaniel pulled her close. Then let's build it. Their kiss wasn't urgent. It wasn't desperate. It was quiet. And free. Meanwhile, somewhere in D.C., a woman sat in a dark office, reviewing a classified file. On the screen, Emily Carter. A red stamp appeared across the photo. Subject, clearance level rising. Potential use, high. Tuesday, 8:30 a.m. Brooklyn loft. The morning light filtered through the curtains. Nathaniel cooked while Emily scrolled news on her tablet. Life was, for a moment, peaceful. Until she saw it. A small article on page 6 of the Times. Former CEO's wife linked to federal whistleblower protection program. Sources suggest Emily Carter may hold information connected to unregulated data extraction programs used in homeland surveillance. Her stomach dropped. Nathaniel read her face. What is it? She turned the screen toward him. They are dragging me in again. He exhaled slowly. You said it was over. It was. Until someone decided I was useful. 10:15 a.m. outside the loft. Emily noticed the car first. Unmarked. Black windows. Then the same man she'd seen yesterday, again at the corner, pretending to tie his shoe. She closed the blinds. We're being watched. Nathaniel nodded. Not press. Then who? He pulled out his old phone. The encrypted one. One he hadn't touched since leaving Hamilton Enterprises. It's time I made a call. Wednesday, Washington, D.C. Office of National Intelligence. Inside a steel and glass conference room, a woman in a navy suit laid a file down. Her name, Director Evelyn Marsh. She tapped Emily's photo. This girl was married to the most powerful data broker in America. She's smart, strategic, and completely unprotected. A man in military dress frowned. She's not an asset. Yet, Marsh said. But she could be. What about Hamilton? Let him fade, she said coldly. The girl's the real story now. Thursday, 2:47 p.m. Brooklyn. Emily stood in the rain, staring at her father's name in an online federal database. Missing. She hadn't heard from him in days. Nathaniel appeared beside her. He's not answering. I know, Emily whispered. He wouldn't vanish like this. Unless someone made him. Nathaniel looked at her. They are going after your past now. Piece by piece. To control your future. Why me? Because you didn't ask for power, and that makes you dangerous. Friday night secret meeting room in Midtown. Nathaniel met with an old contact. A hacker once hired to audit Eclipse. Rin. Small. Tattoos. Eyes too sharp for her age. They are after your wife, she said. Not to kill her. To use her. As what? A symbol. A tool. They want her to speak. To flip. To lead public reform, but with them pulling the strings. And if she says no? Rin shrugged. People disappear all the time. Saturday, Brooklyn loft. Emily opened the front door. Claire was standing there. Alive. Out of prison. Smirking. Miss me? Emily slammed the door. Claire stuck her foot in. Relax. I'm not here to kill you. That would be illegal. How are you out? Emily snapped. Technicalities. Mistrial. And maybe because the people pulling strings need me now. What do you want? Claire stepped inside uninvited. To warn you. Why would you warn me? Because you're the new pawn. They'll make you their mouthpiece. Their whistle-blowing queen. Emily crossed her arms. And you're here out of kindness. Claire leaned close. I'm here because you still don't get it. You think the war is over. But sweetheart, that was just the prologue. Midnight Safehouse 2.0. Emily and Nathaniel were moved by a private contact off-grid. No phones. No cameras. Just whispers. Emily sat on the floor, back against the wall, trembling. I didn't ask for any of this. Nathaniel took her hand. You're not alone. I don't know who to trust. Then trust me. She looked up. Even now. Especially now. And for a few seconds, the world was quiet again. But somewhere else in the bowels of a hidden agency, Director Marsh reviewed a new profile. Emily Carter, psychological evaluation, high resilience. Extreme loyalty. Potential, off the charts. She looked up. Bring her in. Quietly. Sunday, 5:42 a.m. Abandoned safe house. Nathaniel woke to the sound of silence. Too quiet. He reached for Emily beside him. Gone. The blanket was still warm. His blood ran cold. Emily. No response. Then he saw it. The door slightly ajar. No signs of struggle. No broken locks. No messages. She hadn't run. She'd been taken. 7:08 a.m. Manhattan black site. Emily sat in a cold metal chair under a flickering light. Two men in dark uniforms stood nearby. A woman in a sharp navy suit entered the room. Director Evelyn Marsh. "You've been difficult to reach, Ms. Carter." Emily glared. "You had no right to take me. National interest gives me every right." She circled slowly. "You were married to the architect of Project Eclipse. You've seen the files. You know how deep the rot goes. That makes you valuable." "I'm not for sale," Emily spat. "We don't want to buy you. We want to use you." Emily leaned forward. "Then you better prepare to be disappointed." 9:30 a.m. Brooklyn loft. Nathaniel paced the wreckage of the ransacked safe house. Liam arrived, pale. "She's not in any hospital, police system, or detention center." Nathaniel's voice was ice. "They didn't take her through public channels. They ghosted her." "Then what do we do?" Nathaniel looked up slowly. "We find someone who knows how to haunt ghosts." 11:15 a.m. Hell's Kitchen underground bar. Claire nursed a drink in a dark booth when Nathaniel slammed a file down in front of her. She didn't flinch. "You look like hell." "They took her," he said. She blinked. Set her glass down. "Who?" "The government. Marsh's division." Claire raised an eyebrow. "And you're here, why?" Nathaniel locked eyes with her. "Because you owe me. And because you're the only person who knows how this machine really works." Claire smirked. "Now that's romantic. Help me get her back." "What's in it for me?" "Redemption." Claire's smile vanished. "That's a big word, Hamilton." "Then make it mean something." 3 p.m. inside the facility. Emily sat across from Director Marsh. "You're wasting your time." "Not mine. Yours." Marsh slid over a tablet. "A dossier. Names. Programs. Dates. This is what your husband kept from you. You still think he's a hero." Emily skimmed the files. Her jaw tightened. "He made mistakes. But he never used me. Yet he built the same kind of surveillance system you're now sitting in. And I destroyed it with him." Marsh leaned in. "No. You survived it. That makes you perfect." "For what?" "Public trust. We give you a podium. A new identity. You become the voice of transparency. While we run things our way in the shadows." Emily narrowed her eyes. "So you want a puppet?" "I want a symbol." "Then find a mannequin." 8:23 p.m. Hacker compound in Queens. Claire led Nathaniel down a graffiti-covered stairwell into a pulsing room filled with monitors. Rin, the hacker from before, waited. "You're lucky I'm bored." Nathaniel stepped forward. "We need to track a black site." "Impossible. You found Eclipse's core server. That was software. This is off-grid." Claire smirked. "Not if we make them bring her to us." Rin leaned in. "How?" Claire's smile widened. "We leak something they can't ignore." 10:02 p.m. Internet live leak. An anonymous whistleblower drops a single video. Director Marsh. Signing off on black-budget surveillance. Directing covert abductions. Within 30 minutes, hashtags trend worldwide. Hashtag Shadow State. Hashtag Free Emily. Hashtag Marshgate. Monday 2 a.m. inside the black site. Alarms blared. Lights cut out. Marsh stormed into the holding room. Emily was gone. The monitor read. You took the wrong queen. 3:10 a.m. Queen's safe house. Emily sat wrapped in a blanket. Claire handed her a cup of tea. Nathaniel knelt in front of her. "Are you hurt?" Emily looked at him, then threw her arms around his neck. "I thought I'd never see you again." He held her tighter. "I'd burn the world if I had to." Claire looked away. Later that night, newsroom. Director Marsh stood before a podium. No comment. "Are you stepping down, Director?" This operation was classified. "Did you abduct Emily Carter illegally?" The flashes grew unbearable. She turned. Walked off stage. Inside her pocket, her phone buzzed. A message. "Checkmate. See. Monday 8:10 a.m. Rooftop of the safe house." The sky was grey, lead like the choices in Emily's heart. Nathaniel stood behind her, arms wrapped around her waist. "They'll come for you again." "Oh no. We could disappear. New names. New lives." Some were quiet. She was silent. "Or you could do the opposite," he said. "Step forward. Let the world see who you really are." Emily turned. "As what?" "The intern who married a billionaire. The wife who got kidnapped. The girl who was used by both the system and her enemies." Nathaniel looked her in the eye. "No. As the only one who walked through hell and came out honest." 10 a.m. Downtown Press Center. Emily Carter stepped onto the stage alone. No Nathaniel. No lawyers. No PR team. The room was electric. Cameras clicked. Voices hushed. She wore a simple navy dress. Hair tied back. No jewelry. No mask. She approached the MIC, heart pounding like a war drum. "I was never supposed to be here. I wasn't born to power. I didn't grow up dreaming of headlines. I just wanted a life that mattered." She paused, scanning the crowd. "But when I married Nathaniel Hamilton, I stepped into a machine. One I didn't understand. One that didn't care who I was, only what I could be used for. Some wanted me quiet. Others wanted me loud, but only on their terms. So today, I speak on mine." The room stilled. "I'm not here to defend him. Or blame Claire. Or name enemies. I'm here to say this: no one should have the power to watch you without consent. Not governments. Not companies. Not even the people you love. We all deserve the right to choose our truths. And this is mine." 11:03 a.m. Watching from the sidelines. Nathaniel sat in a coffee shop, watching the speech on a small screen. People around him whispered. "She's brave. She's real. She's the voice we needed." He closed his eyes. Proud. Broken. Whole again. 11:15 a.m. Across the city. Claire sat in a glass office. Yes, she'd survived the collapse. Yes, she'd avoided prison. But she hadn't won. Emily had. And it burned. Still, she smirked. "Well played, country girl. Well played." That night, Brooklyn laughed. Emily returned to the place that no longer felt small. Nathaniel opened the door. She dropped her bag. Fell into his arms. "I did it," she whispered. "You did. You think it'll matter?" "I think," he said softly, "you're the only one who ever made it matter." She pulled back, looked him in the eyes. "Then let's build something better." Epilogue 6 months later. Headline: Emily Carter launches Global Transparency Initiative. She wasn't just a symbol anymore. She was a movement. Nathaniel stood beside her, not as a CEO, not as a savior, just as a man who had once been broken and was now reborn through love. Claire vanished from headlines. Director Marsh resigned. Ethan disappeared into exile. But Emily Carter became the name the world whispered with hope. Not because she was perfect, but because she never stopped choosing truth, even when it nearly destroyed her.